Alright, I hope that was enough for me not to look like a fool when you initially see the video. Hi, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. I've missed all of you, believe it or not, even though I don't personally know you. I miss sharing my mornings, afternoons, evenings with you all. And so, by the way, I had every intention of covering new topics that I had written down. But as you all know, with everything that's going on, um, things have been, I don't know, my emotions have been up and down. One day you wake up and, you wake up feeling hopeful, and then you hear another incident, and, we're right back where we started. So, if not even, you know, even more backwards, because you would assume that now, more than any other time, you're not going to hear anything of that nature, but you still are hearing it. Um, so you know, I hope everybody's doing good. I just got back yesterday, and I have been wanting to share my experience with you guys, because I know that a lot of you that saw the videos um, are curious to know what happened. Um, and so I'm not going to go that much into detail, but I am. And I'm saying that to say I will tell you all about my trip and how amazing it was. And I'm going to give you details and all that good stuff. So basically, we had differences of opinion in Memphis. So you guys know, um, there's an author. Her name is Mary Monroe, and she writes. There's this series. It's called God Don't Like Ugly, and that is so true. That is like, that's like, doesn't get any truer than that. And um, so we have differences of opinion. We get to Memphis. Um, that's when it all happens, and that leaves my friend and I. And so, um, at this point, the car was rented by that third person. We all paid. Um, and so, um, neither of us had credit cards with us physically there. You cannot rent a vehicle without having the physical card with you. And so at that point, we were kind of stuck. Um, so we decide, all right, based on the weather, we wanted to go to Miami. That didn't happen because of the weather. And so we then said we had an option to go to Tampa. The weather wasn't bad, only because we weren't going to be able to drive so much back into, just two of us to Cali. I ended up driving almost 8 hours straight. And if we did each eight, it just wasn't going to make sense, like safety wise, which, as you guys know, then the riot started in Santa Monica, which is where we were headed towards. That was the first thing that, okay, it wasn't meant to be. I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. Because we would have literally been driving into all that. So, so we decide, all right, we're gonna go to Tampa, spend the night in, stay an extra night in Tampa, and we're gonna take a bus because we're scared of the, getting sick on the airplane. Um, so we figure maybe the bus, they're saying on the voicemail, on the voice message when you call, that you don't have to, that everybody has to wear a mask. Sorry, guys, that you don't have to wear a mask. So Um, we say, okay, it should be, it shouldn't be packed. It should be fine. OMG. So we get there. We were terrified, y'all. Terrified. I still have to call them to get my money back. So the bus was packed, and this was Greyhound. And it actually cost about the same price. I think, if anything, we paid more for the fucking ticket, the Greyhound ticket, than we would have if we would have gotten a flight out. But whatever. So we were in the bus. Now the bus is going. The first stop is Nashville. So we take the bus. Like, we are just praying the whole way there that we don't get sick, because there's this guy that there were two people that got released from prison. You can tell that. And one guy, I don't know if they let him out because he was sick, but he was coughing really bad. Like, he had two masks. And my friend said she noticed that he had one of those, the hospital bands. I didn't, but I was close to asking him, hey, sir, are you sick? Because if you are, maybe you shouldn't be in this bus, and especially for this long. But whatever. So my friend starts kind of getting like anxiety over the whole thing. And now I'm calming her down and I'm letting her know, listen, don't worry about it. He put the mask on because at one point he didn't have the mask. Don't worry, he put the mask on. Um, and we're calling car rentals to see if they let us rent a vehicle with a debit card. But they're saying no, that you have to have a credit card. One of them then finally says, well, if you have a round trip ticket back home, then you can use your debit card. So we're like, I guess Martha was a little bit anxious, and she forgot to say, well, there's no way for us to have a round trip ticket. We drove here, so we need to leave back driving. I'm sorry, on a flying, not, well, not us flying, but you guys get it. So finally, she calls them back. We make it. She explains it. It's done. The lady says, yes, no problem. This is your confirmation. So we get off in Nashville. And by the way, again, back to the bus. It was packed. They are not, you know, requiring you to wear a mask. She did say, if you're not wearing one, I can give you one, but never did they go down the line and actually ensuring that everybody had a mask and actually making it mandatory, which is an issue, especially because, I mean, people were, it was just, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, okay, so now we get to Nashville. We take an Uber to the airport. That's where we're going to pick up the car. When we get there, she goes, gives them the information. The guy's like, oh no, you need a credit card. And we're like, oh my God. At that point, like, I was trying to be strong for both of us and positive. And I'm like, oh, because I've always known that you have to have a credit card, right? So finally, she keeps talking to him and nothing. So we go upstairs because there's a sign from Hertz that says that at that moment they were closed, but you can go upstairs back to the main floor where we were at. So we go, we are asking, where is it? Nobody seems to know. They're saying, no, everything is downstairs. So now she's like, you know what? No, I'm going back downstairs. Like, no, this is ridiculous. So she goes downstairs, and now the people were right by Southwest. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to see if there are flights. Fuck it. At this point, like, we don't want to go. Oh, and by the way, so the next stop from Nashville, that was our route to Tampa, was leaving in 4 hours. So regardless, we were going to be in Nashville in that station for 4 hours waiting. So at this point, we're like, we're trying to figure something out before that time period hits. So so Southwest is busy. I'm waiting. I oh, mind you, right before we get, into the differences of opinions, my phone fucks up, y'all. My phone fucks up. Mind you, let me just explain that. Whoa, whoa. All right, let me back up. Are we okay? Yes, right? So let me just explain that I am super duper addicted to taking pictures. I want to capture the moment. I want to take a million pictures. And it's not about me, it's of everything with everyone. Like, I just love taking pictures. I love it, right? So, um, so, um, and we saved the coffee, y'all. So, my phone fucks up. I noticed that. So Mart had a power charger, right? Like the one that is like the old ones, the older ones that is, I forgot how you call that one. The one that looks like a plug, right? So at one point I noticed that the phone like flickered, but I didn't think anything of it. And I noticed it probably like, I don't know, it turned off for like maybe half hour, and then it went back on normal, no problem, and then it went off again. That was it. And to this day it's not on. So that was another reason why I barely made videos as well, because it's not the same resolution. But anyways, so okay, so here we are where now, thank God. So also, I barely travel with my iWatch. I do always take my AirPods, but I just happen to take it. I'm like, fuck it, let me take it. And so, had I not, I wouldn't be able to talk, because so my phone is on. However, I can't see anything. It's a black screen. So because I have my iWatch, then I was able to see who was calling, and I was able to pick up and then talk with my phone, through my AirPods. Um, and then of course I do have a line on the iPad, so I was able to use that, for like calling Ubers and stuff. So normally, sorry, I burped. Normally, that after everything that had happened, because when we had that incident, um, that altercation in Memphis, let me tell you, my friend was ready to leave. Like, she was like, you know what, I'm ready to go home, girl. And I'm like, I respect it. If you want to go, we're going. That's it. But I think we came too far to give anybody the satisfaction and or deprive ourselves of having a great time. Like, this just means that we're gonna have an unbelievable time. Like, let's just figure out where is best then for us to, and to go and reroute ourselves. Fuck it. Um, but again, the issue was the whole thing with the credit card and the vehicle. So now, fast forward, we're there. She went downstairs, trying to figure out what was happening. 5 minutes, becomes a time, like 3 hours, right? So I'm thinking, now Southwest, they were packed. Finally, nobody's there. I'm keeping an eye on my iPad because I'm charging it. Because if she does call me through Facebook Messenger, then we can communicate. So finally, I tell the guy, "Hey, do you have any flights leaving?" And he's like, "Leaving to Tampa." He's like, "Yes." Um, but no, he goes, "Yes, I have a connecting flight. Leaves at 7. Oh, but it's booked." I'm like, "Okay. When is the next flight?" He keeps checking. tells me that there's nothing until the next day afternoon, but then keeps checking and says, "Oh, there's actually one at 7:30 in the morning." I'm like, "Okay, how much?" On only $152, no big deal. I was ready to buy it right then and there. Mark then calls me. I rushed. I tell him, "Give me a second." I rushed to the iPad. Um, she she tells me that they gave her the card. So I'm like, "What? Are you sure? 100% sure?" She's like, "Yes, I'm signing papers." So she basically told them, like, "I don't. There is no way for me to have a round trip ticket, but this is our ticket going back to New York on Thursday. We drove here." She didn't go into obviously full detail of what happened, but basically explained more or less, like, we have no choice right now. So finally, so she rents it. Now we're on our way to um, Tampa, and we stopped. Did we stop in Georgia for a little bit? Not really. We drove by. We didn't get to do all the stops that we initially intended to do. If we would have gone to California, but um, so we continue our trip. We finally get to the hotel. Now we're there. We get to Tampa. We're there for 5 nights. And let me tell you that no shade, it was the best thing that could have happened to us was for that third person to just, decide to part ways. Like, it really was. Because, first of all, there is an age difference. We are older, and, you know, you just have different expectations, and you go for a different purpose or different motives. And so let me tell you that we went to the Civil Rights Museum, although it was closed. We went, we took pictures. It was so, we had an amazing conversation with a young activist there. um, and my God, it was amazing. It was amazing, and that experience we would have never had we gone, you know, our original route. Um, the whole trip, it was just a constant reminder of, okay, it wouldn't have happened the other way around. It wouldn't have happened if, you know, even with the curfew that was imposed, like, we were out and we're like, "Oh shit, we only had not even an hour times before we realized it." And we were able to make a reservation, get food. We were in a great location for it. The restaurant didn't have anything. The bar was not open, but great restaurants delivering. The pool was open. We tanned, as you can see. Ate great food, no complaints. The staff was amazing. We practically had the hotel to ourselves. We made friends the first night that we were there with the two girls, and like, we, even me, like, losing my phone. I lost my debit card. I lost my portable charger. Most of my chargers were not even working. Needless to say, also, I forgot that we, especially me, because we were driving, I literally, and the vehicle that we rented didn't really have much trunk space. I didn't take my suitcase, my little one. Even though it's small, I didn't take it. I took um, two, like, a beach bag, like a regular beach bag, and then, those big Marshall shopping bags. I just threw stuff in there, and that was it. So now there's nothing open. I'm gonna need a luggage because we need to come back. Um, what the hell? How am I gonna? How the hell? Where the hell am I gonna get a suitcase from? So we were able to meet up with a friend that brought me a luggage, brought me a suitcase, like took us out to, we had breakfast, had dinner, then the same day, then the following morning we went to breakfast, had great food. I mean, the whole trip was a constant reminder that you know you you always, sorry, the battery, you take a situation regardless of what it is, and you are in full control of what you make of it. Me losing my phone, my ID, all that, under different circumstances, would have destroyed me. I would have felt like it's the end of the world. But with everything that's going around us, it also, was a as a reminder of how blessed we are, those of us who are here, who have a voice, who are able to do something, who are healthy, and not just, you know, with the riots and the protests. I'm also talking about this pandemic, which I don't even know what the hell it is right at this point. But, just it was so beautiful. Mart and I were able to bond. We had, grown women conversations. Like, it was beautiful. We really got to know each other even more. We've known each other already for 10 years. We've worked together for 9 of those 10 years, and so we know each other, or so we thought that we knew each other pretty well. But we really got a chance to bond, and and just even have conversations where we both were mature enough to agree to disagree. It was so refreshing to, you know I'm used to that because my other closest friends that I have also, like, we know how to respect one another, and and there's that line that you don't cross, you know but anyways, um I really, really had an amazing time with all the obstacles. It was like, another thing, the fucking devil's always working. And for me, I also felt like, so full of peace and joy, and just so grateful that those things didn't even affect me. Like, I was not bothered by it. Even when the curfew came, we fucking said, all right, so this is what we're gonna do. This is the plan. At one point, there was still curfew, but they still had this. We found this beautiful place called, oh my god, Armature something. I can't remember what's the rest of it, but oh my god, beautiful, great food, beautiful scenery. That, wow, I'm like, in the middle of this war, because that's really what's going on right now. We're here in this little, bubble of peace. You wouldn't think, what's happening, what's really happening out there, looking right now. So I was grateful for that as well, because you know it's it's still reality, but it is nice to kind of be away for a little bit. Um, but yeah, we honestly really, really had an amazing time. Um, didn't act a mess, carried ourselves properly. I wish that my phone worked, um, but still, like I said, I would have just had more footage. But yeah, the lesson learned is that appreciate what you do have. Don't take anything for granted, and always make the best. There's always something good. Like even COVID-19 for me, it has done a lot of good things. It has allowed me to spend time with my kids that normally, my son is 21, my daughter is 13, and this is the most time that we have ever spent together as a result of this. Yes, it is a fucked up situation. I'm not taking away from it, but it has allowed me, for example, this experience, the opportunity to do something like this. Um, and just to bond. And like one of the guys said, the when we were speaking at the Civil Rights Museum, that this is a time that you really know who who's there for you and who really has you in mind, because you these are the times that you want to check up on your loved ones, on your friends, on your family, on like, look, she's getting a phone call from a lady that we used to work with, that still works at the hotel where we used to work, but she would have never thought that that person was gonna call and say, hey, how are you, just calling to see, is everything okay, how's your family, so I also encourage you guys to do the same. It doesn't take much. I'm guilty of, I'm a bad texter. Like, I really am. It's not that I don't, it's not that I don't reply because I don't care. I don't know. You just don't reply. It just happens. So, you know, just during these times, especially, let's try to make a conscious effort at least to, reach out to our loved ones, just to hi, even if it's your ex, that you still care about. Um, you can always say, hey, just checking up on you, girl, or just checking up on you, dude, making sure you're good, and so on and so forth. So, yes. And yeah, these are the times. These are the times. And nothing. I hope you guys are good. We're going to start our topics tomorrow. Oh my god, I have my mochi here. We're going to start our topics tomorrow. I want to try to have Martin, in the show talking with us. But the thing is the whole driving thing, guys. So, what else can I tell you? I really wish I was live. By the way,